Here it is, at long last, the Gump. This is a personal project that I had been working on for on and off about 2 months. Total elapsed time, I'd say, is around 2 weeks of just hard sanding, cutting, sculpting, and then eventually painting. This is a very heavy kit bash of the double Zeta high grade, and I'll show some pictures right now of the process. Okay, so here's a regular double Zeta, and I started with finding the parts I was looking for. Separated the parts I find useful, might be useful, and then I take away the parts from the double Zeta I don't need, and then I refined them. So I started with the side skirts. I then started to work on the legs and the feet. Didn't know what to do with the legs yet. The shoulder quadrants, which you'll see have a little bit of a trick to them. The legs, the upper legs, the thighs and everything needed to change as well. And the hip skirts, they needed to be extended. Backpack, I had to shorten the back cuff a little bit. And then here is the Gump after the first passes or tuning. And then a little bit more. I changed the legs here. Here's the iconic headpiece, which a lot of kit bashing to that. Legs, with the vent, I went with handmade, and then I decided to go with a plastic piece from the double Zeta. Here, some more passes, the hip skirts, some filling in with some filler putty, and then the alternate mode. I wanted both modes, and here's more work on the alternate mode with the claw. There's parts from Masquerade Zeta there. Then I started filling in the parts with putty, and then I did a primer coat, sanded, more filling, more sanding, so much filling, and then working on the optional parts, and then final layer of primer, and then the first normal coat goes down, and then the second pass, which is all the weathering and everything. And here are the other modes. You can see I did do the power chords in the end, and you can swap out all the parts to do all the modes. So as you can see, it was quite a lot that went into it, and you can definitely still see the parts of the original double Zeta in there, but it's also quite uniquely its own thing. And if you know about this mobile suit, you'll know it does actually have two forms, and my goal was to be able to do both forms. So this is the first form, and it does articulate, and I'll show that now. We have the original joint at the waist, which is unchanged. The arms can go just shy of 90. Head is unchanged underneath. Elbows, not elbows, but shoulders do actually go out. The hip skirts go out, forwards and back. That is a little loose. The hips themselves can go forwards about that much, and are limited going back because the back skirt is actually locked. The knees go not too much. I couldn't get too much articulation out of the knees without like double jointing, and I really didn't want to break the silhouette up of the Gump too much. And you can kind of, you can kind of push a little bit more out of it, but that's about as much as you're gonna get out of the knees. As for the ankles, it's actually the original joint that is basically now at the opposite of where it was before. So you can go forwards, not much. Back you can go a decent amount. It does have a rocker because it's a ball joint, and it does swivel. And the wrists are the original wrists. So let's change it into the second form. And here is all the parts taken off from the first form that will be replaced. Start with the chest. One of the vents has been changed to a canister of some kind. I'm not sure exactly what it is. There we go. The hip skirts have been changed to grenades. Make sure I get the right ones on. There we go. The left arm, or the right arm, left on our screen, right for the unit, has the modified original dual mega beam cannon from before that magnetizes on like so. You'll put the peg leg beam cannon on, and then finally the claw arm, very iconic for that. Now the claw arm, you can move the wires around, but I'd recommend that you pose it first and then you put in your wires afterwards. So there are 2 holes on the back here which you can peg it into, but like I said, you're gonna be fighting the wires a little bit. So the unchanged parts, of course, the articulation is the same. Actually no, it is the same. I was going to say it has further out, but not really. You do have a bend at the claw arm now. The claw arm itself does actually open up and close. Top bit is a little floppy. This peg leg is basically immovable. The actual connection is not like a proper connection, it's just a hole basically, and it's got some thumbtack that helps it stay on. It does have a little bit of stability issues, so it's best to have the legs pointed out a little bit to give the maximum surface for it to stand on, and there you go. So if you know the source of where this comes from, and you know that it was originally the double Zeta, both in real life with this kit and in universe, it had a final stand moment where it discarded its huge, I'm not sure, radome thing, I'm not sure what exactly that is, and it revealed the original double Zeta head with the mega particle cannon on its head. That didn't quite work, but it worked enough for the situation that it was in. For size comparison, we'll go with something period appropriate. We have Victory. I know it's not quite period appropriate, but it's the closest I have for this form at least. This was closer towards Victory, to my understanding. And as you can see, Victory is a pretty small suit when you compare that to what is basically the double Zeta. It's going to look small in comparison. And then here we have a more appropriate comparison, I guess. We have a Crossbone, which it does look really good next to, and both really cool suits, cool pilots, and all of that. As for the color scheme, I went with the only official colorization that we have, and that is of the SD game. Not sure what game it was, but if you look up Gump, this color scheme is what will come up. And yeah, it's crazy to think it's finally done. I know that there aren't many Gumps out there. There's I know of, I believe there's like 2 or maybe just 1 that's at least been posted to the internet. So I'm happy to be one of the lucky few who has got one in front of them. Now, as for display and what form I'm gonna go with, I'm not sure what form I'm gonna go with. You know, the first form looks bulky and looks a lot closer to the double Zeta, and you know it's interesting. But then the second form is just so unique that you know I like them both. You know, so it's going to be really hard to decide which one we're going to have it displayed as, and how I'm going to display. You know, I'm going to have it posed. I'm going to have it just standing there. Of course, it can't pose too much, but yeah. That's it. After so much time, it's done, and I can move on to other projects and get those done. Hopefully, not taking as long as this one did, or I don't know. We'll see. Tell me what you think down below. It's truly been like a labor of love. You know, you can see all the things that I used to make it. I hope this encourages other people to make their own, and maybe one day we'll see a 1/100 Gump custom. Maybe we'll see some resin kits, and maybe if Crossbone gets an anime adaptation, that we'll get an official side story with the Gump in. So, and I can dream, I can hope that we'll get an official kit. Probably be better than mine, but mine's still unique. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hit like, comment with your feedback. Again, the feedback is, you know, really want to hear what people think of this. And say subscribe and stay tuned for more.